Okay, so our next group, come forward, please. So, what is your topic? Verb. Okay.
Can I use the verb?
Yes, of course.
The word verb is a sparse of speech. When we speak, each of our part of our speech called part of speech, and the verb is an important part of speech. There can be sentences without noun, pronoun, adjective, and verb, but there will be no any sentence without any verb.
We cannot make any sentence without verb. In oral communication it is possible, but in written form it is impossible. Impossible to write a sentence without verb. Okay? Okay. Then what is verb? What is the definition of verb?
Verb is the part of speech which expresses the action of any noun or pronoun.
Okay, it can be partly right, not completely. Verb not only carry action, but also shows possession and state of being.
State of being is
For example, state of being, he is happy.
happy.
So is the verb is carrying any action? Not really. Just it is showing the state of being. How is he? He is happy. At the same time, verb shows possession. I have a cow. Have is not carrying any action, but it is showing only possession. That is the complete definition of verb. Verb not only shows action, but also shows possession and state of being. This is the complete definition of verb. So we have got the conception of verb. What is the classification of verb?
Yes, classification of verb. Firstly, verbs mean two kinds, finite verb and
Non-finite verb. Again, then finite verb can also be subdivided into,
Two divided.
what are they?
Principal verb.
Okay. So principal verb again can be divided into three types. What are they? Transitive, intransitive and linking verb. Auxiliary verb, how many ways can auxiliary verb be divided into? Four. What are they? What are they? Four types of auxiliary verbs. Be verb, do verb, have verb. Another one is model auxiliary verb. Write only model, okay? And the non-finite verb again is of three types. What are they? Non-finite verb can be classified into three types. What are they? Non-finite verb can be classified into three types. What are they? Infinitive, participle and gerund. These are the three types of non-finite verb. Infinitive, participle and gerund. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the classification of verb. Now you need to know the difference between finite and non-finite verb. You need to understand what principal and auxiliary verbs are.
So you know that verb is the heart of a sentence. So is it interesting to know a brief introduction about the heart of a sentence? So let's start today's session. So what is verb? Verb is a part of speech in a sentence which helps us to which determines the action and state of being of someone or something. Like one example. So here the verb is means what officer is doing to us. He is teaching us the BEDP. So we can call is as a verb in this sentence. So
There are two verbs in this sentence. One is auxiliary, another one is the main verb. One is the action verb, and another one is okay. It's all right. Continue.
So now verb is mainly divided into two parts. One is finite verb and another is non-finite verb. So what is this finite verb? Finite verb is a verb by using this in a sentence. The speaker is able to fulfill her wishes to the listeners. Like that, I'm writing a sentence.
So finite verbs can be used to express our complete thought. Okay, and it does not need any help from non-finite verb to complete a sentence. Okay, this is what a finite verb does. A finite verb can express a complete thought.
Like,
For example,
I play.
I play football. So you can see in this sentence there is only one verb, that is play, and there is no any other verb, any non-finite verb. Okay. On the other hand, non-finite verb cannot express a complete thought without taking any help from finite verb. If you remove finite verb from the sentence, non-finite verb will be incapable of expressing thought. For example, I died to save her. If you remove died from this sentence, you can see this non-finite verb cannot generate a complete sentence. Have you got the point? Here to save is one of the three non-finite verbs. How many non-finite verbs do we have? Three kinds of non-finite verbs: infinitive, participle and gerund. The verb which is preceded by the preposition to, it is known as infinitive verb, and it is an example of infinitive verb. There are other two types of non-finite verbs. They are, what are they? Participle and gerund. So there are three types of non-finite verb. They cannot express a complete thought without taking any help from finite verb. That means you need at least one finite verb in a sentence. But finite verb does not need any help from non-finite verb. They can generate a complete sentence without taking any help from non-finite verb. This is what he has said. Okay, so far he has successfully presented the difference between finite and non-finite verb. Their non-finite verb completely generates a complete thought without taking any help from non-finite verb, a finite verb. But non-finite verb cannot generate a complete sentence without a finite verb. Okay, this is the difference between finite and non-finite verb. Okay then. Yes, of course.
So This was the basic difference between finite and non-finite verb. Now I am moving towards the classification of the finite verbs. So here you can see again the finite verbs are divided into two verbs. They are one is principal verb and another one is auxiliary verb. So the spelling is
AUXILIARY. AUXILIARY. Auxiliary verb. XILUXILIARY. ঠিক আছে. XILIA. Auxiliary verb. So finite verb again is of two types, principal verb and auxiliary verb. Now we are waiting to know something about principal and auxiliary verb from him. Okay, what is principal verb?
So guys, from the word principal, we are getting like a dominant thing, right? And our principal verb is like this. When our principal verb is placed in a sentence, it don't needs the help of auxiliary verb to express the full thoughts completely. Like this,
Principal verbs are also known as main verbs. Principal verbs are main verbs. Okay, they become changed in response to tense, number, person. Have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For example,
sir, I drink water, and for the past tense, I drank water.
and what is the function of auxiliary verb?
And the function of auxiliary verb is like this, to help the principal verb for making the sentence more tasteful.
Okay, I mean auxiliary verb, the function of auxiliary verb is to help the principal verb in order to express tenses. Have you got the point? The function of auxiliary verb is to help the principal verb to express time or tense. For example, is working hard. Here is an auxiliary verb and it is set before the principal verb working. Okay? And to express continuous tense. Let's have another example. I have broken the glass. Broken is the main verb.
Yes, sir.
Have is the auxiliary verb. And it is said before the main verb broken in order to express perfect tense. Have you got the point? This is the function of auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb helps the main verb to express time or tense. That is why they are known as helping verb. Auxiliary verb is also known as helping verb. So he has successfully told or differentiated principal verb from auxiliary verb. Okay, okay, you can continue for 1 minute.
So after noting these differences, now we are moving to the classification of principal verb. So here the first one is transitive verb.
Linking verb. So principal verb again is of three types: transitive, intransitive, and linking verbs. Today our class has ended. In the next class definitely you will continue the presentation. Okay, so far so good. Thank you very much. You can put your hands together for the group.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today I will continue the next part of the verb. So the next discussion is on transitive verb, intransitive verb, and the linking verb. So what is transitive verb? Transitive verbs are those verbs which has the object, like
So what is transitive verb? Transitive verb has object. Transitive verb has object. Okay. But how can you understand if it is transitive verb or it has object? Definitely there is science behind that. He will tell you.
So then here we can see a verb plate. So now a question may arise how we can define a transitive verb in a sentence completely. So just think that I is the subject and football is the object and the verb is played. So if you see that there is an object after a verb in a sentence, then we call this played as a transitive verb.
Okay, but how can they know that the word football is an object here? They can say, sir, it may be complement, it may be adverbial. Then how can they understand this word football is an object?
Sir, because sir,
do you know, can you let us know the conception of object? What does object mean?
Sir, objects are just...
Object receives the action of the verb. Object receives the action of the verb. For example, I hit the table. I hit it. And who is the receiver of my hit? Table. I kick the football. I kick. Who is the receiver of my kick? Football. And transitive verb has that receiver. Have you got the point? But intransitive verb does not have that receiver. For example, he runs fast. He runs fast. It does not have any receiver. But there is another way through which you can understand it is transitive or intransitive verb. What is the way? You have to put two questions on the verb. What and whom. If you get answer in response to any one of these two questions, it means that it has object. For example, I hit the ball. Hit whom? Whom? Kake? Ball. I eat rice. I eat what? Rice. But look at this sentence. The sun rises in the east. Rises what? No answer. Whom? No answer. Where? In the east. It has answered the question where, not what and whom. So if you put two questions, I mean what and whom on the verb, and if you find answer in response to these two questions, it means that this verb is transitive verb. And if you don't find the answer, it means it is not transitive verb. It may be intransitive verb or linking verb. Okay, continue. So have you got the answer? What is object? Object must have receiver. Sorry, transitive verb must have receiver, and object is the receiver.
So here the football is object because it is receiving the verb of the subject I. So due to this
it is the okay.
Due to this football is object and this verb is a transitive verb. I can give you another example. I watch TV. I watch television. So here the TV.
What TV? Okay.
So here the TV is taking the action of the subject I is watch. Then what I'm doing with the TV, I'm watching the TV.
Okay.
So for this concept, this verb in this sentence is also a transitive
verb. Keep in mind, both transitive and intransitive verbs are action verbs. But only transitive verbs have object, but intransitive verb, though they are action verbs, they do not have object. They do not have object.
So I hope you you understand that now I am moving to intransitive verb. Here, if we just throw this object from the sentence, this same word will be the intransitive verb, as it don't has any object after.
Not really. Not really. Transitive verb cannot be left alone. It must have object. Only intransitive verbs can be left alone. Have you got the point? It must have something to exercise its action. You watch, definitely you have to watch something. Okay? Yes, so it's all right. This is how we are learning. This is the very natural way of learning. He is presenting and we are learning. Okay. So transitive verb cannot be left alone. That means you cannot remove the object football from the sentence. If you do so, your sentence will remain incomplete. Okay, now go to the next one, that is intransitive verb. Yes, intransitive verb does not have any object. Then what can we say? The words which follow the intransitive verb, they are adverbial. They are what? They are adverbial, they are not object. You can remove them from the sentence, and this removal will not create any impact on the sentence. They are used only to provide extra information. Okay? For example, just write down the sentence, the sun rises in the east. He runs fast. I drive slowly. They all are action verbs, but they are not transitive verbs. They are intransitive verbs. He runs fast, the sun rises in the east. In the east. Okay, so here runs and rises are the intransitive verbs. Why? Just put two questions on them. Runs what? No answer. Whom? No answer. How? Slowly. Kemon pare? Aste aste. So it is answering the question how. I said maybe just. Now
coming to the point of linking verb. So what is linking verb? Linking verb is a verb which tells the state of the subject in a sentence.
Linking verbs are not action verbs. They are not transitive or intransitive verbs. They are linking verbs. They only link the subject and the complement. Okay? And shows the state of the subject. It talks about the subject. Only talks about the subject. Then linking verbs only provides extra information about the subject. Have you got the point? Okay. When auxiliary verb behave like the main verb, these auxiliary verbs become the linking verb. There are some sensuous verbs also. For example, look, smell, sounds. It sounds occurred. He looks handsome. She looks pretty. These are also linking verbs because they gives extra information about the subject. They talks about the subject. Okay. Yes. 1 minute. Finish kar do.
One example of linking verb is he is said. So here this word is the state of the subject he. So you make
said is telling the telling about the subject. How is the subject said? And subject he and said has been linked by the verb, and that is why it is linking verb.
Here you can see that this is auxiliary verb has behaved like a principal verb.
Very good. Thank you very much. This is how we are learning. We all are learning. Good morning, class. How are you, everybody? Okay. What are we learning currently? Verb. Okay. Anyone who can define verb? Is there anyone who can define verb? I mean, what is verb? Anyone from their presentation in the previous class? I mean, in the last class, they talked about verb. I mean, they defined verb. At the same time, they talked about classification of verb. In fact, they have started discussing about this classification elaborately. My first question is, what is verb? Yes?
Verbs are a class of used to action. K action.
Verb carries action.
Yes.
Is it the... Okay.
So verb is a part of speech which expresses the action, the state of being and position.
Very good. This is the complete conception of verb. Verb carries action, shows possession and state of being. Verb not only carries action but also shows possession and state of being. Okay, that is the complete conception of verb. Very good. Thank you very much. Now in the previous class, they also talked about classification of verb. Okay, is there anyone who can tell the class the way verb has been divided and subdivided into many categories? Who can tell it? Yes?
So verb basically two types. One is finite verb and another is non-finite verb. So finite verb is divided into again two parts: principal verb and auxiliary verb. And then the principal verb is divided into three parts: transitive, intransitive, and linking verb. And then auxiliary verb divides into four types.
Is of four types?
To be, to have, to do, and modal auxiliary. And then non-finite verb is divided into three types: gerund and participle and
Infinitive. Okay. This is the classification of verb. Anyone can talk about the classification of verb? Anyone? Now anyone can tell us the differences between finite and non-finite verb? Finite and non-finite verb, yes, you?
The basic difference between finite and non-finite verbs is by using the finite verb, the speaker of the sentence can express his thoughts very much perfectly to the listener.
Completely without taking any help from non-finite verb.
Non-finite.
Okay, Arjo or Turjo, what is non-finite verb?
non-finite verb means the verb which cannot express itself without the help of finite verb.
Very good answer, without the help of finite verb. Then we can talk about the difference between principal and auxiliary verb. Anyone who can talk about the difference between principal and auxiliary verb? Okay. What is principal verb?
So principal verb, the verb that can make a sentence, express the meaning of sentence without the help of auxiliary.
Auxiliary verb. Principal verb is the main verb. Okay. Principal verb get changed in response to person, tense, number. Okay. And what is the function of auxiliary verb?
So auxiliary verb is a type of verb that
helps the principal verb to express time.
Yes.
Be it continuous or perfect or past continuous or past perfect or future indefinite, future continuous. These are the functions of auxiliary verb. Okay, student, get ready for the rest of the part of the classification of verb, which is going to be explained by the same group who started the presentation in the previous class. Arjo and Sayan, Turjo and Sayan, come forward and continue your lecture. Okay, next group, please get ready for the next presentation. Okay.
Hello everyone, I'm Koshika Turjo. Now I'm gonna discuss about verb. In our previous class, my friend Sayan had discussed about finite verb and principal verb. Now I want to start from auxiliary verb. We know what is auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb is a verb which helps the principal verb in a sentence. So we can say the helping verb, such as in a sentence.
You have enough space over here.
I'm going home. Then going is the principal verb, but without am, I going home. It is not properly discussed.
It is incapable of
Yes,
expressing continuous tense. Continuous
so,
tense.
am is helping.
Be verb. Okay, can you tell us some be verbs? Tell us yes, some be verbs. In the book.
Some people are. It's
Am, is, are, was, were. These are am, is, are. Okay. So am, is, are. The function of am, is, are is to make continuous sentences, continuous tense. Okay. Was, were, am, is, are. They are used to make continuous sentences, but they can also be used in indefinite tense also, be it present indefinite or past indefinite. Okay. When they are used as main verb, they actually generate indefinite tense, present indefinite and past indefinite tense. This time they are not auxiliary verb, they become linking verb. Have you got the point? Okay, be seated. Thank you very much. So their function is to make continuous sentences, but at the same time they can also behave like main verb. When they are used as main verb, they actually start functioning like linking verb. Tar linking verb er moto function kore. Okay, so this is all about to be verb. Can you go to the next part, that is to have verb? How many have verbs do we have? How many have verbs do we have? Have, has and had. There are three have verbs. But you must know the agreement between the subject and have verbs. Okay? Agreement between subject and have verbs. We have two have, that is have and has for present tense, and one for past tense, that is had. But have and has have to agree with subject. Okay, then give example over here. You can use this part of the board. Okay? Have verb.
I have done it. There have is the auxiliary verb and done is the principal verb.
Principal verb. Okay, the function of have verb as an auxiliary verb is to make the perfect tense. Okay, can we use I has done it? Can I replace have by has in this sentence?
No, sir.
No. Why not? Because person. There are three persons, first person, second person and third person. Okay, we use have only for third person, and this person has to be singular, even not plural. For example, they, third person plural. Okay, we cannot use as with the person they. Okay, as is exclusively for third person singular number. Only for third person singular number. This is what you can see another example, and it is the uses of has verb. Okay, here has been used with the subject he, and he is third person singular number. Okay, can you tell some other subjects which are third person singular number? For example, he, she, and any other subject. Eat, he, she, eat, any name. He, she, eat, any name. Okay, and they are third person singular numbers, and they need has for perfect tense. Have you got the point? Okay. Then we can go to the next part, that's it, to do verb. Like have verb, there are also to do verb. Okay? But they remain hidden in simple, present simple and past simple tense. Whenever you go to transform this simple sentence into interrogative or its negative form, they just simply come into view. Have you got the point? For example, I eat rice. There is no do verb in this sentence. You cannot see, but it is hidden in the sentence. If you convert it into interrogative sentence, do I eat rice? Or negative sentence, I do not eat rice, then they only come.
Yes.
Have you got the point?
Yes,
So, for example, write a sentence, I eat rice. Only write I eat rice. I eat rice. Here do hidden in the sentence. Do is hidden in the sentence. I do it twice. But you don't have to write it. But if you go to convert this sentence, I do not eat twice into negative form or interrogative form, they will come. Have you got the point? So this is the function of do verb as auxiliary verb. Kintu in the sentence, write another sentence. Can you write another sentence? I do it. Write another sentence. I do it. Here, in this sentence, do is not auxiliary verb.
Yes, sir. It's Mr. Principal.
I do it. Do is not auxiliary verb. Here it is behaving like principal verb. He is doing something. It is not auxiliary verb. It is not helping anyone. Have you got the point? And can you transform it into interrogative sentence? Do I do it?
Yes, sir. Do I do it?
বুঝতে পেরেছো? Here the first do is the auxiliary verb and second do is the main verb. There remain hidden. Do verbs as auxiliary verbs. Do verbs as auxiliary verbs remain hidden in the sentence. The way they have given the example, you can see.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have two questions.
Yes, surely.
Sir, you have said that when any verb, any auxiliary verb is used as a principal verb in a sentence, on the time we can call them auxiliary
No,
verbs.
I will say be verb.
Oh, sir, be
Only be verb. Okay, be verb become, what should I say, linking verb. Be verb, am, is, or, was, or. Just I gave the example a moment back. Okay. So there are 4 types of auxiliary verbs, but only be verb becomes
can be used as
linking verb. Okay, the next one is model auxiliary verbs. Model auxiliary verbs, the special ones among the auxiliary verbs. Model auxiliary verbs. Okay. After how many model auxiliary verbs do you have? Almost 18, most probably. 18. Can you tell us some model auxiliary verbs? Yes.
can, would, may, might, shall, should.
Ought to, dare, have to. These are the model auxiliary verbs. Okay, model auxiliary verbs are always followed by be1 form of the verb. Okay, for example, I should do it. Okay, I should do it. Model auxiliary verb and be1 form of the verb, do. You cannot write I should does othaba I should did. You cannot add s or yes, or you cannot use be2 form of the verb. You cannot write he can does it. Have you got the point? You cannot write that. He can does it. After model auxiliary verb, you have to write be1 form of the verb. So model auxiliary verbs are always followed by be1 form of the verb. Can, could, may, might, should, ought to, dare, have to, has to. They all are model auxiliary verbs. Shall, will, they are model auxiliary verbs. Okay? Can be, I can be. This is the be1 form of the verb. Okay, it is not auxiliary verb. I can be the best in the class or in the world, anywhere. Okay, that's all about auxiliary verbs. So how many auxiliary verbs have we come to know? How many auxiliary verbs do we have? 4 types of auxiliary verbs. What are they? And model auxiliary verbs. Now we can go to next part, the most important one.
I have to add something, sir.
Okay.
So my dear friends, we have known about auxiliary verb. Let's go to some exceptionals. So we know that have is a to have verb. It's auxiliary verb. But in this sentence, can you
Have has become the main verb
Yes, sir.
here, and yet here it is showing possession.
Yes, sir.
Here it is showing what?
Possession.
Possession. Verb বলেছিলাম না, verb not only carries action but also shows state of being and possession. Here I have a book. It is not auxiliary. This is what
Yes, sir.
Turjo has mentioned. Okay. This is not what auxiliary verb. It is main verb. You should be aware of that. Do verb can become main verb at the same time auxiliary verb. Am, is, are can become main verb at the same time auxiliary verb. Okay. You need to know them. Okay, so we can go to the next part.
The
part is
We can take a break for 1 minute. So now we can go to next part, which is non-finite verb. Okay, how many non-finite verbs, how many types of non-finite verbs do we have? 3 types. What are they? Now they are going to talk about these 3 types of non-finite verb elaborately. Okay, now we can start. Which one?
Non-finite verb. The verb which cannot express or explain itself without the help of finite verb is called non-finite verb. For an example, we can say that I have written a sentence that is we fight to save
a flower. In this sentence, we have both finite and non-finite verb.
Yes, sir.
Okay, which one is the finite verb and which one is the non-finite verb in this sentence?
Fight is the finite verb.
Yes, fight.
Fight is the finite verb.
Finite verb.
To save is the non-finite
To save is the non-finite verb,
verb.
because if you remove fight from this sentence will remain incomplete.
yes, sir.
Okay, so what we have understood is that at the absence of finite verb we cannot complete a sentence. A sentence must have a finite verb. Okay, so here we have an example of a non-finite verb, to save. And what type of non-finite verb is it? To save. What type of non-finite verb? How can we recognize an infinite non-finite verb? What is the characteristics of an infinite non-finite verb? Yes.
2 plus B1.
2 plus B1, infinitive. Infinitive এর আগে সব সময় we use 2. We have to use 2 before B1 form of the verb, and it becomes infinitive verb. When a B1 form of the verb is preceded by 2, it becomes infinitive verb. But infinitive verb can be used as noun, can be used as an object, can be used as an adjective, can be used as an adverb. Have you got the point? It can be used in many different ways. Definitely we'll talk about them later. Okay, in my book I have described all these things you'll find about infinitive verb. Okay, we will not have much time. Let them talk about other types of verb. Can you give us 2 more examples of infinitive verb? Okay, this is another. It's all right. We have got another infinitive verb. Now we go to the next part, participle. Dealing with participle is not easy. Pay attention to this part, because participle again is of 3 types: present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. Present participle and gerund look alike. Okay, and past participle means B3 form of the verb. Okay, and perfect participle always is preceded by having. Okay, but you need to know the difference between present participle and gerund. They will talk about it now. Okay, please continue.
Okay, so we have got the basic idea about non-finite verb. And non-finite verbs are 3 kinds. They are gerund, participle, and infinitive. We have got the basic idea about infinitive. Then next is so let's go to the gerund. What is gerund?
What is gerund? What is gerund? Verb plus ing. But at the same time, present participle also verb plus ing. Okay? Then what is the difference? They are going to present it. Okay? Swimming is a good exercise. Yes, swimming is a gerund or participle? Gerund. Why is it gerund? Because
At the last of the swimming, it added ing.
okay, we can see ing after the verb, but in participle we also see the same thing, ing after the verb. But why it is gerund? And I mean, I saw a floating flower. Floating is a participle. Why? Here floating, I saw a floating verb. Floating is an example of a participle. But swimming is a good exercise, or walking is good for health, or I love reading. They all are jiran. Why they are jiran? As she came to my room dancing, dancing is a participle, or I saw a floating flower, floating is a participle. Why? They also look same. Have you got the point? They look same. But why are they jiran and why are they participle?
Okay, sir. So swimming is a good exercise. Here, swimming is the jiran, but swim is a activity. But in this sentence, it's
Swimming.
noun.
Swimming is noun. How can you understand that it is noun? Because it has been used as a subject. A subject cannot be an adjective. An object cannot be an adjective. Object cannot be an adjective, or subject cannot be an adjective. Have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
So that is why swimming is a jiran, not participle. Can you write another example? I saw a floating flower. I saw a floating flower. It is a barking dog. Write another sentence. It is a barking dog. Write another sentence. A barking dog seldom bites. Write another sentence. A barking dog, B-A-R-K-I-N-G, barking. Write quickly. A barking dog seldom bites. A barking, B-A-R-K-I-N-G. A barking dog seldom bites. S-E-L-D-O-M. Mane a barking dog actually does not bite. Here, look at the first three words, a barking dog. These three words together has made one subject. But here, in this sentence, it is not the subject. Subject is dog. A and barking has been added to the subject in order to make a phrase. Okay, this is how a subject can become bigger one. He can make a big subject in this way. Have you got the point? And in a subject, there can be an article, adjective, adverb, other thing. But it must include a noun. And this noun is the keyword and it is the subject. And now together, this phrase is behaving like a subject, a barking dog. And in this subject, barking is functioning like an adjective because it is qualifying the subject dog. Have you got the point, subject? That is why, is it participle or jiran, barking? Participle. Why? Because it is qualifying the noun dog. Have you got the difference between participle and jiran?
Yes,
Jiran behaves like an adjective, noun, but participle behaves like an adjective. Now we can go to the next one. Participle is of three types. Liko participle is of three types. They are present participle, past participle, perfect participle. Okay, perfect participle definitely is a B3 form of the verb. Perfect participle. But it must, what should I say? Function like an adjective. For example, this is a broken chair. Broken is behaving like adjective. It's a broken chair. Or let's say, this is the book written by Rabindranath Tagore. Can you give one example where B3 form of the verb is behaving like an adjective? B3 form of the verb. I mean, it is a broken chair. Can you give any other example of B3 form of the verb?
Sir, it was money.
It was? It is not participle actually. It is a passive form of the verb. Okay, any example? B3 form of the verb, yes.
Sir, it is a black pen.
So what is the B3 form of the verb? What is the B3? Write the sentence.
I have eaten rice.
Sorry?
I have eaten rice.
It's the soaked rice. B3 form of the verb.
Sir.
Okay. I ate socked rice. Socked rice again আবার together পান্তাভাত যেটাকে বলে বাংলায়। Rice socked. Rice কে qualify করলো কি দিয়ে? Socked. B3 form of the verb. Form of the verb.
It's a prepared thing.
It's a prepared cafe.
I have done this work.
It's a killed bird. Okay, যেটাকে মারা হয়েছে. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Then another example, prepared. It's a prepared classroom or it's a organized classroom.
It's a
Okay.
fulfilled decoration. Fulfilled.
Decorated classroom.
It's a decorated classroom. And they all are past participle. একটা হলো present participle. Present participle এ কি হয়? Verb plus ing. Past participle B3 form of the verb. And perfect participle, definitely this B3 form of the verb should be preceded by having. For example, you can say, having done my homework, I went to school. Having done my homework, I went to school. অথবা having finished this lesson, I went to Sundarban. Having collected some money, I went to Singapore. বুঝতে পেরেছো? And this is the perfect participle. Perfect participle is always preceded by having. These are the three, participle. Present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. This is how they have finished talking about verb. They have firstly talked about the differences between finite and non-finite verb. Then they have shown the way finite verb has been divided into two parts. Principal verb and auxiliary verb. Principal verb again has three categories. What are they? Transitive, intransitive, linking verb. Then they also talked about 4 types of auxiliary verb before talking about non-finite verb, which is of 3 types: infinitive, participle, and gerund. This is how you have successfully presented your idea regarding verb and the way verb has been divided and subdivided into various categories. Thank you very much, both of you. You can put your hands together for them.